You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Nash Dashin, who says, rant about Undertale and or its fandom. What do you think the game does well, and do you agree with the amount of praise that the game gets? Did you play Deltarune? What did you think of it? What do you think about the general theory culture surrounding the game? Yeah, I played Undertale. I talked about it extensively on the very first episode of the Procrastinators podcast called Best Game Ever, where we just talked about Undertale. I think that the game's, what it does like to push the medium is what interests me the most. The way that the narrative is structured, the way it uses save files, just like the amount of deep meta shit going on in it, the amount of secrets, the just sheer robustness of the game, as Ben would say, is what makes it great. As for like actually playing the game and the dialogue, I think the dialogue is fun. It's cheeky, it's cute. The dialogue as it pertains to the story, I think, is really strong, especially like again the metatextual stuff, the comedy. But like, while I understand why so many people are so endeared to the characters, they're not really my type of characters. Like, they're not characters that resonate with me all that strongly. They're fun, but like I'm not like a fan of them in the way that people who love that game are. So like I find Undertale more interesting than enjoyable, and gameplay wise I found it a borderline insufferable. I do not enjoy the general keyboard controls of the game. I, you know, I think art style and aesthetic wise, it's fairly interesting. It definitely gets like better looking as it goes, but the artwork is. I wouldn't say it's the strong point of the game. I think its design sense is really interesting. Like obviously the character designs have become iconic and are very striking. Again, not really something that appeals to me personally that strongly, but like yeah, just like playing the bullet hell mechanics. I love the mechanics. I love how they look. I love how they play out. But playing the game physically, I did not have fun. And I found all the bosses very challenging and did not like really get much out of beating them. It was kind of just like, I mean, most of the game, if you suck, is just playing a boss fight over and over for half an hour and then being like, oh my god, I finally fucking did that shit, you know? That's how I felt anyway. And I only did the pacifist run to completion. So, I didn't do a genocide run. I didn't like push because I was like, why would I want to make it even harder for myself? This fucking game is hard enough as it is and not that fun to play for me. So like, I find the game more intellectually interesting than I do something that I personally am a fan of. So do I agree with the amount of praise that it gets? I think it deserves to be considered like a high point in gaming because of the, again, structure of it, the narrative, the robustness, the innovation, the meta, doing more with gaming. It's a very much like, I very much appreciate art that addresses the medium it's in and tries to use that medium to the fullest potential and like doesn't leave any questions unanswered. Like, what saving means in this game. It's not just something that is a video gamey element applied because it's necessary. It actually has a narrative context, similar to Dark Souls. It's one of the things I love about Dark Souls is that like the idea of even you giving up playing has a narrative meaning, So I love it on that front, and I do think that it deserves to be considered like a benchmark game. I don't know if I think its characters and writing deserve as much praise as they've gotten, but, what people are fans of, people are fans of. Who am I to tell you that you're not supposed to like Sans that much? Did I play Deltarune? I watched my friends play it. I was not that impressed. Again, there's a video talking about it. I think we talked about it on another PCP episode. Personally, I just found the like narrative and characters a lot less interesting. I thought the fact that it was 3 hours and it didn't do anything like Undertale is only like a 6-hour game, maybe 8. Going all the way to the end of the pacifist run. Like, it could be less than that, obviously, if you're better. But like, it felt like Undertale had accomplished so much more in that amount of time. And granted, Deltarune is like a chapter 1 of an ongoing story, but It just felt like it was repetitive in the character beats, and the characters did not grab me. I did think the aesthetic was a lot stronger, and the battle system was potentially more interesting, but I guess I would have to see more of it before I would be impressed with it, you know? What do I think about the general theory culture surrounding the game? I hate theory culture. I hate that shit. Like, I understand that the game leaves itself open to a lot of that, but if it's not something that I feel like is obviously justified as what the creator intended, it's just boring to me. I mean, make up whatever you want. Speculate however you like about what this all means, but I don't care about your interpretations. I will just, intake my version, and I'm not interested in, like, participating in people's theories about it, I guess. That kind of stuff has never interested me. So, yeah, that's generally my thoughts on Undertale at this point in time.